plot this. Hope don't mind this. This is see. Right, so where are we? Screen. All my random messages. Okay. So blocking off point. So I basically like rip it to shreds because otherwise I can't improve it. Where are we? So the point I was thinking of this. I should have rotated that really. Are you all right for rotating? So if it's, picture this, but rotated like 90 degrees and yeah. So like points to block up. Because I think we could block it up kind of at this point here essentially. But kind of make it so if it was like torrential, I mean, hopefully this will take it. I think that's the other thing. It's quite hard to just be like, this is a concrete thing because like on site it'll be different and like the lines of this will be different because like if we want to mirror it kind of according to the building, how the building looks, I can have certain lines following that through. The lines will be a bit different.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also the other case like of my sketch is like kind of trying to link these two together. So it's like if we can get as much water from because there's constantly water flowing from here, and if it's a case of looking at the levels where the channels get put in, like kind of like so if on normal times there's no water coming through, but on periods when there's like a high level of rainfall, that's when it starts to flood this zone. So it could just be kind of like not seasonal, but a weather reflective essentially. So like half the time it's quite dry relatively, but then like periods where it's high rainfall, it's immensely damp essentially. But, and then we'd block it off at the end here and maybe have like blocks off at certain points. So like you'd maybe have like a boulder in the center of this, so some water would percolate through and then it percolate through the next channel, which will then percolate through to the next channel. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it does. But then each of those sorts of channels will become different levels of water, won't they?
Yeah.
Which could be interesting. And because if you think of like a ravine, that's one waterway. So what we've got is actually a network happening rather than one, which, yeah, I wonder if we need all of the routes, but I think it's really interesting how it will transform the landscape and how it will work like that.
Yeah. I think because part of it is very much like because once the building's there, then it can reflect and like we can kind of decide how many we might need because this is just kind of reflect the idea of the grid shell. And like if we made a mesh, then it kind of thinking like a sponge, it allow the water to come through to this whole area, sweep round, and then if there's again a lot of water, the water can end up in these pools that I've kind of designated down here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I like it. I suppose I like your, like if you look at your landscape, then you look at those images that Tom did with the landscape forms that are a bit like Charles Jenks, but slightly more natural. And how we make, those. So how we make sure that that sort of clarity that appears in this one, like those photographs, will appear so you can actually read it, because you don't just want it turning into sort of all merging together on site, that you have these ditches but it's not clear. So how, like those lines, like the actual lines that are bringing it down from the ditch, how we make sure that those lines are showing how we're directing water.
Well, I think
have a clarity. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I think because like when you're like plowing the landscape, if it'll have the kind of the soil upturned, and you have the color changes things, and like we'll have to think about planting, to keep that clarity essentially. But that's the idea, like, because like the complicated question with like planting and like kind of I guess horticulture as well. It's just that like the plants will go where they want to go. You can't control nature. Like it's like yeah, water will always win whatever you do. So we're kind of like bowing down towards water and plants and just creating, space. We're trying to direct them into the area we want them to go, but we can't control where they might end up growing. It's a bit difficult one, unless it is very much like architecturally designed like this. But then you like the concrete will change like the pH levels of the soil, and like some plants might react badly or react really well with it. So kind
of... those are made of clay. I think that's like an earth forms.
Yeah. Oh, good, yeah. Well, because if we can, because like we could get clay, and so there's depends on the levels of things, but like so that's what I was kind of just indicating here, like because you had like kind of a circular route through and then kind of continuing on. So I didn't know like because like it depends on cost as well because the cost of a retaining wall will probably be quite expensive. Like moving earthwork would also be, I think, quite expensive. I'm not quite sure. It depends what we can get. But like, because each of those could be a defined little terrace essentially. If you think about like rice terraces,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like stepping down from A to B. But then again, it's quite hard to design because I've not seen that side of the site for the topography. So yeah, if you want to have a
yeah,
more defined site, so it could be like around the building could be a much more defined area of like this is a planting zone for this kind of planting. You can get this here, and like that could be like a educational thing. And then the top side here could be more looking at kind of slowing down like water runoff and kind of encouraging like the rainforest incubator. So like this could be the rainforest incubator with the grid like kind of structure mimicking the grid shell, and then the bottom half of it could be more like the outdoor educational classroom with like these like say 3 or 4 terraces with like specific site planting for kind of specific learning and like specific materials. So if you were to have like a clay banked wall to kind of retain that area, which will lead between building and the landscape outside.
yeah. No, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
I think the way the building is developing, I think as like Tom was saying, we need to develop it um, in line with the landscaping. I think that will be interesting because I think right now the design, like that was just a sketched out design that I did, it kind of turns its back on the landscape rather a lot.
Hmm.
So I think it'll be interesting. Like I hope that everyone will have a go at this, but actually how we redesign that building so it actually much more links in with the landscape, I think will be really nice and will hopefully help inform both of them, like taking your design here and actually seeing how that building can much more sort of
Can link together.
collaborate on that relationship with the two. I think that'll be nice.
I think we read that because I think like because some of these images I have over here, they're kind of like like this is kind of like the ideal like architecture and landscape merging together. I mean, it's just grass, so like planting is very much lacking. But like the idea of them kind of becoming like it's a cohesive whole. They're not like two separate things. It's the idea of kind of blending them together. So
Yeah.
it's fun. Like I mean, obviously it's not going to look anything like this. Just the idea of them kind of linking together and kind of like reflecting off of each other with the same kind of shapes and forms, and I kind of said color replanting and things because there was the idea of bringing the planting within the building, which would I think be quite useful. Like if you look at I'm gonna stop sharing. Terraform, you can literally grow plants in a sealed container and they'll still grow, which is really cool. And so the idea was, I think, partially we talked about the other week of just creating like a shelter for the plants to grow within the building, but also having it to be sheltered enough for humans to have like educational, like kind of a classroom essentially. So yeah, this is actually really
Yeah.
good. I'd really recommend it.
Well, it's actually sealed so the oxygen doesn't get in.
Yeah, so if you look at terrariums, essentially it's sealed tight so you can make your own like micro ecosystem. So I'm quite impressed that they're still alive. They seem pretty happy actually. But essentially it's like you have enough water inside and soil to kind of keep them thriving. And then as they're respiring, because like, they produce oxygen in the daytime and the carbon dioxide at night. So they're breathing essentially. But like yeah, you just need to create like the perfect habitat for them, and they'll just keep going in their own little cycle.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, it's great. You can make little hanging ones as well, and they're quite cool.
I think this would be really great. Like as we talk about, for a consultation, having like a rainforest, like rainforest in a box. But like it'd be much cooler if the people can kind of gather them from site, or if we are able to kind of get things growing. I don't know much about moss. I don't know anything about moss, and I don't know if we're kind of going to have like consultations leading up between August and November, like what will be growing on site at the time, what we can take people around the site and collect. So
Oh yeah, moss is around all year. That's one of the great things actually. You can see actually seeing a rainforest when it's wet in autumn is probably better than summer, because in summer it's just everything was very dry that day. That Friday we looked round. So yeah, after some rain, it will be looking a lot nicer, a lot more vivid.
yeah, and how quickly can we encourage moss to grow quicker? essentially, like if it's within the building?
No, not really. No, it's yeah. I mean, if you can encourage the spores there,
Yeah.
and just have lots of spores there to grow up, that's the best way, because they've got a little seed bed for themselves, but it just takes them a while to grow. So to do again the instant impact thing for this project, it would be trying to transfer some of the substrate with the moss and sort of pack it in essentially. But yeah, like moss roofs in general, like the green roofs in general, moss is one of the best ones, just because it absorbs so much water, but it is quite slow to establish. That's why they sort of put other plants with it, to get it going straight away more sometimes. Yeah.
So does our landscape, when we put, I don't actually know the answer to this, but are we like, rather than ploughing the whole thing, should our landscape then just limit the amount of ploughing that we do? Because if we plough the whole thing, it's just going to be a bare soil that we have to completely cover, which I don't think we're going to have time or budget for.
That's the other thing. Like we're not going to cover it, but if it is the idea of an incubator, it's like you'd have some really kind of solid lines carved through the landscape that kind of link you to the building and realize something's happening. But then, like the main activity will be around the building, essentially.
Yeah.
And like, because there's that article I left on there where you can get donations of trees from the Woodland Trust. So it could be another consultation that are bringing people to part of the event for the COP26 and could be getting people up to plant the trees.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look like you'll have like the impact of the building, maybe the landscape directly around the building first. You'd have this kind of longer lifespan, project to the back, which kind of in the next few years will end up becoming a completely different habitat than it was before. Kind of accelerating an incredibly slow process. Like you can't speed up plants. But I know with moss, I was able to. You can buy moss. Like we did it in second year at uni. We made like a coccodema. Is it coccodema?
Oh yes, yeah.
Hanging moss balls tied up with string with plants at the top. That was very fun.
Cool.
Yeah, they're good ones. Again, that's sort of a good one. It's like a kids' workshop or something. I know they're all like booked up for this year, but yeah, that's nice.
I hadn't realised there was any like. I didn't know when that was divvied out or anything, so it's a bit.
No, there was Emma sent around an email, and I'm not. God, that was a couple of weeks ago, and then she rang and said, "Oh, no, it sounds like a great idea, that little, rainforest terrarium thing." Yeah. And I'm sure I mentioned you as well, and someone else had chatted about it. But I think she was. She wanted it done quite soon, or like I think, and I was there going, I can't, I can only do 2 Fridays because I'm away in August. And I was like, I can only do these 2, and she said, "Should sort of get back about it." But I think they were just really popular. Everyone wanted to do one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, I can provide the ideas and hope someone does this.
Yeah, I mean, even if they do something next year, want to do something similar in the Easter holidays, I mean, it'd be good. Depends on the long-term implications of the project at Cove Park. But I mean, if they want to continue, try and continue with this theme and the community engagement, yeah, it'd be a great one to do.
Yeah, because we could because I think if we had like a local farm with the plough, like doing kind of particular lines through to kind of direct water, and that would just have like an indication towards the further up the hill, and then we kind of focus on micro planting design around the building essentially, and then have consultations which extended over next year, or depends how long Cove wants to do it over the next few years, to link people in and bring people to kind of do the planting in the back.
Yeah, definitely.
It'd be nice to get together like tomorrow and just kind of see what is actually happening. What's kind of like, can we have a long-term plan? Can we kind of like, part of the landscape could be like this initial process for COP26, but then can we extend the whole landscape strategy like that?
Yeah, when is sort of the construction happening?
In August, I think.
August.
Yeah, that's soon.
Very soon. It's like, oh my goodness, plants don't grow this quickly. Well, they do grow this quickly, but you can't see them.
Yeah. But I think that's why the sort of the landform that you're talking about, like there's the cuts in the landscape, because I think people can imagine stuff as well. So like the cuts in the landscape, if we do them and sort of, and then do localized bits, as you're saying, that actually we plant more intensively around the building, but actually the cuts in the landscape exist, you can kind of imagine what might happen, like this ravine and things. I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
Well, we want to inspire imagination. Like we want to make people feel like they can actually make change and realize the world we're living in right now. If we just have these, like, if we just engage with it, we can completely change. We can just change the world around us and how people interact with it. Which is really exciting. How do you give it an impact for this one thing? Like, I'm not a Chelsea Flower Show person. Like, I think it's a beautiful thing, but it's just like it's temporary and then it's gone. It has no connection with the community or the landscape, and like it's not relevant to that climate there, you know. So yeah, okay, but that's yeah. I'll try and tighten this up for later. Maybe make something a bit clearer. Becca, I don't know. Could you maybe do a bit of research on rainforest plants and put it on the Miro? Is that, are you able to?
I'll see. I will see how I feel today. I'm happy to talk about it tomorrow. But yeah, I'm not. I've got a headache coming on again, so I'm just gonna see how I go today.
Yeah, I don't know what we need for tomorrow. If it's a presentation to kind of co-part, so I'll try and pull some stuff together. How are you doing with the vaccine? Did you get that the other day? Is that?
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, no, it's not. It just sort of comes in waves. I felt quite bad yesterday. Felt better waking up, and then I'm just like, yeah, I can feel it sort of just like, you know, when it washes over you a bit. I'm not sure. I think it's different for everyone. My partner was completely fine. It's very nice. But yeah. Yeah, and I just want to make sure I'm just good for tomorrow because it's a fairly long way over.
Yeah. Are you working over? Are you?
Yeah, no, I can use the car because I probably won't feel strong enough to go on the bike.
Of course, yeah.
Because it's a lot more. Yeah, no, it's a lot more physical coming over. So no, I think my partner's staying home, so I can use the car, which will be very nice and luxurious. So that'll be a lot better.
As well.
Yeah.
It completely floored me, as in like I could barely move for like a week, really, and I was so tired. Like I tried to walk for 20 minutes and I had to stop for an hour just to get my breath back and then go back again. Terrifying.
Oh God, yeah, no, I'm just, I just want to be well for work as well. So I'm sure I'll be fine. Just power through. But yeah, I can. I've got a great book I can bring tomorrow as well.
Oh yeah,
about,
yes, books are amazing. Libraries have been shut for so long; it's hard to get inspiration for these things. So if you have, I'll bring my terrarium so people can have a look at it. It'll be quite fun. Maybe my sketches too.
That's it. But yeah, no, in terms of rainforest planting, it's quite straightforward. And again, even just walking around Cove Park and things, if people wanted another little walk, it's just essentially it's what you can see as well. So it's yeah, sort of if they do want a specific sort of palette with species or things, you know, I can sort of write that down.
Yeah.
Write it down fairly quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because like it'd be great, like, because I could take the photos, put them on the Miro, and like we could do a walk to identify the plants, and maybe later you can kind of like identify them, and I can put them on like a clear sheet to kind of show people, to be like, this is our planting palette scheme that will eventually go, but you might not see it immediately.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm quite aware of time for everyone needing to do stuff, so I don't want to. Okay.
Yeah, no, it was really helpful. It was really useful. I'll do some more work today as well. I'm going to spend the afternoon doing some, probably more focusing on the grid shell, but I'll definitely try and tie in the landscape and start seeing how that relationship maybe could happen as well. And yeah, it'll be exciting to see everyone's stuff tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have some good discussions and things.
I think were you there on Friday, or were you?
Yes. Yes. Oh no, wait, which Friday?
The day I was there. I'm trying. It's been a while. Like I'm finding memory of doing things quite tough since going back to.
Oh, you mean at Cove Park the second day?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't there.
I was thinking I couldn't remember it because it'd be nice to like have a good discussion, like how we can like sketch together everyone's idea to make them fit.
Yeah. No, indeed. Yeah, I think hopefully it'll be a good day to try and actually bottom out what we're trying to achieve and what people's aspirations are.
I think really good.
Yeah.
How is the good shell going? Like, because I had no idea until this Thursday what it even looks like, what it was. So, is this something you've done before, or is this something quite new to you as well?
I've researched it before. So in uni, I was really interested in timber designs, and but I ended up going down a different path with my designs. So it's something I had researched in university, good shells, but I didn't end up actually developing it as a design.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm glad that we're looking at it again, because and actually building one, that's really cool. It's obviously yeah.
But like, how would you even? I don't really like. How does it kind of, like? This is my question. Is like, how does it connect to the ground? How do we do? Is it us physically building it and putting it up, or are we getting people in to do it, or that kind of
I
stuff?
think we will be building some of it, hopefully quite a lot of it. I think we will be tying it. I think we're going to need some sort of steel ties of some form, like to actually tie it to the concrete foundations. So I don't know if we drill into the foundations and we fix bolts through, and then we have some sort of steel thing on the end of the timbers to actually connect the two together. I suppose once we have a design, it will be easier to sort out the detailing. But
That's
yeah.
the thing. It's kind of like you need to do a bit of like have a bit of everything all in one go, and then kind of like finalize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this I think tomorrow will be really great. Like, it's really good to kind of have a discussion about like kind of like, am I going the right direction? Does it fit architecture, and does it fit in with the like landscape and the aspirations of create like initiating a rainforest rather than like because you can't have a pop up rainforest. So yeah, I think it'll be alright. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no, it's yeah, it'd be really nice to actually get everyone's feedback on how the design is going as well. And yeah, I definitely think you're heading in a really good direction of actually carving up the landscape like that. I think it's yeah.
I missed half of that. I'm really sorry.
Oh, no, no, I was just saying, yeah, I think definitely, I think we're heading in the right direction. Generally, I think that the design that you've done is definitely like I can see aspects of it being really, yeah, being really effective. So yeah, it'll be nice to have everyone together to actually chat about it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I'll let everybody go because I think yeah, I think it was really helpful actually. It'll be good. Cool. Right. So I'm just gonna have a quick research of plants and stuff and maybe put some on the board so people can see, and I'll do a bit of annotation. But I think I'll just leave it for tomorrow and then we'll have a discussion.
Cool. Okay, and I'll try and do some more grid shell design sort of stuff today, and maybe develop another model and stuff, and try and tie it in more to that idea of like how the landscape is coming into the building and stuff. But,
yeah, that's really good.
Cool.
All right.
Brilliant.
Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, probably do.
Yeah.
I'll get the pens out and start drawing. All right. Well, enjoy your day, and Becky. I hope you feel much better.
Thanks, guys. I'm sure I will. And yeah, see you both tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.